You see him on the news.
CNN.com contributor, Dean Obadala. So, Dean,
watch him at comedy clubs.
When I say Mecca, do you think of a holy place or an urban clothing line?
Read his articles, and you hear him on the radio. The Dean Obadala Show is on live right here on SiriusXM Progress, channel 127.
And welcome to Dean Obadala Show, brothers and sisters of the resistance. Wednesday, April 10th. Yes, I am back. I was out yesterday. I want to thank my friend Nayira Haq for filling in, doing a great job. I was emceeing a dinner here in New York for the Muslim Community Network. My good friend Debbie Al-Montazir, who's been on the show recently, is one of the leading people of that. And it was a great event here in Manhattan. And before I had this show, I did a lot of activities with my community. It's a little harder now, but I wanted to take off time here and there. And they honored a lot of awardees that were inspiring, including the first Muslim woman ever elected to be a judge here in New York, Carolyn Walker Diallo, and hopefully we'll get her on the show in the not-too-distant future, who was really interesting and told a funny story that she was raised Christian and told her mom when she was like 21 or 22, like 3 months after 9/11, that she wants to convert to Islam. And her mom's like, you're black, you're a woman, and now you want to be Muslim? And it was really funny. So if she comes on, she'll tell that and other stories. She's, great, very well-respected judge here in New York. Just got big appointments, elevated, and hope to have her on. But first, before we get into the serious stuff, we need a little humor. And this is courtesy of Stephen Colbert talking about Donald Trump's obsession with one thing. We all know what it is. Here's clip number 1, please.
He has been obsessed with one thing. Himself. But also immigration. Immigration is what he ran on. Immigration is the threat he sees on the horizon. Immigration got him 2 of his wives. But there's been lovely women. But there's been a huge spike in illegal immigration since Trump took office, and he looks like an idiot. Not sure which of those things came first. So, he's mad. He's hopping mad. During a recent meeting about immigration with top officials, Trump was ranting and raving, saying border security was his issue. Sir, don't sell yourself short. You have tons of issues. Commitment, trust.
Some funny stuff there. And obviously, to me, the funniest line is that Trump's got a lot of things from immigration, including 2 wives, which he has. And so let's talk about something far more serious and substantive right now. And that is Bill Barr is Donald Trump's puppet. And forget the politics of that. That's bad for America, and that's objectively bad for America. It would be bad if a Democratic AG was doing what Bill Barr is doing. Now, I was out yesterday. I know you talked about some of the hearings. There was more today, but I want to start with yesterday. What happened? Bill Barr goes on Capitol Hill, not to talk about the Mueller. We don't even know the Mueller report, his report. And he's questioned and probed about, how did you come to your conclusions? Did you talk to the White House before? And here's one response to Congresswoman Nita Lowey, who's a Democrat from New York, not too far from New York City. Here's clip number 9, please.
I've said what I'm going to say about the report today. I've issued 3 letters about it, and I was willing to discuss the historic information of how the report came to me in my decision on Sunday. But I've already laid out the process that is going forward to release these reports, hopefully within a week. And I'm not going to say anything more about it until the report is out and everyone has a chance to look at it.
And that sort of paraphrases so much of what he said in response to questions. Congresswoman Nita Lowey, after that congressional hearing, told reporters that it is not clear that there were no revisions or changes made to the Barr letter at the request of the White House, because he was evasive. She did say, quote, I think the Attorney General just stonewalled us. He shared with us what he wanted to share with us. That's all. So you had that. Today, it got far worse. Because yesterday it was, I got it. It was, you could couch it in reasonableness. Today you cannot. Today is political hackness by an Attorney General that we knew was a political hack. I talked about it weeks ago. This was a cover-up that was building in front of our eyes. And I'm telling you now, we are seeing this play out. Ultimately, it may not be the cover-up that Barr and Trump want. We do have a court system. There will be applications to a judge. And I'm hoping that the jurisprudence of this nation will transcend partisan politics, and we will see everything that we can see from the Mueller report. But here, that's not even what we're talking about. What we're talking about is far worse. Today, Bill Barr began parroting Donald Trump's lie that there was spying on the Trump campaign, and somehow this spying is, by using that term, it seems unwarranted, that there was a deep state and all of this BS. Now, I went back and I looked at the first time Donald Trump talked about spying. It was March 2017. That's months before Robert Mueller's even appointed. So keep that in mind. Just 2 months into his administration, March 2017, you're all going to remember this. He tweets, "Terrible. Just found out that Obama had my wires tapped in Trump Tower just before the victory. Nothing found. This is McCarthyism." This is the beginning of Donald Trump talking about the deep state, playing on this conspiracy. And let me share with you what happened today, and I'll give you a timestamp to show how these are all interrelated. And on some level, if we did not win the House back, this story would be far different. So, first of all, 10 a.m. today, Donald Trump, and I won't play his stupidity for you. I will just read what he said. He said it was an illegal investigation. It was started illegally. Everything about it was crooked. This was a legal witch hunt. Everyone knew it. They got caught. And what they did was treason. What they did was terrible. And he demanded investigation. Then a short time later, there's Bill Barr, the AG on Capitol Hill, testifying and talking about the need for an investigation, going back to the origins of the FBI doing surveillance on the Trump campaign. It was sort of incidental at first. Don't forget, it was Carter Page was involved with the Trump orbit, and there was a FISA warrant, and there was concerns about him having connections to Russians because he clearly did have connections to Russians. But here's Bill Barr first today saying his concerns first. Let's hear clip number 2.
I am going to be reviewing both the genesis and the conduct of intelligence activities directed at the Trump campaign during 2016. A lot of this has already been investigated, and a substantial portion of it has been investigated and is being investigated by the Office of Inspector General at the department. But one of the things I want to do is pull together all the information from the various investigations that have gone on, including on the Hill and in the department, and see if there are any remaining questions to be addressed.
In a vacuum, that sounds reasonable. That's the truth. In a vacuum, it sounds reasonable. We have more clips to play. But the reality is, the investigation, as America knows, because all of our intelligence agencies and Robert Mueller has confirmed, our nation was under attack by Russian military government actors. 2016 campaign. It began, in fact, late 2015. DNC gets hacked. There's no disputing we were attacked by Russians. Robert Mueller has indicted members of the GRU, the Russian military unit, and by name, in great detail. We were attacked. That's why there is an investigation, because there was certain people in the Trump orbit communicating with Russians. Carter Page, there were FISA warrants. And by the way, all 3 judges who approved the FISA warrants, which allowed surveillance of Carter Page, all 3 appointed by Republicans. All 3, no disputing it, all 3. But he's playing this game like none of this has happened, that Russia didn't attack our nation, that somehow Democrats, out of sheer fabrication and wanting to have a deep state to undermine Donald Trump's campaign, began this rogue investigation. Now, here is Senator Jeanne Shaheen from New Hampshire following up, saying, why do you want to have this investigation? Here's clip number 3.
Can you share with us why you feel a need to do that?
Well, for the same reason we're worried about foreign influence in elections. We want to make sure that during an election, I think spying on a political campaign is a big deal. It's a big deal. Generation I grew up in, which was the Vietnam War period, people were all concerned about spying on anti-war people and so forth by the government. And there were a lot of rules put in place to make sure that there's an adequate basis before our law enforcement agencies get involved in political surveillance. I'm not suggesting that those rules were violated, but I think it's important to look at that. And I'm not talking about the FBI necessarily, but intelligence agencies more broadly.
So there you go. And to unpack that quickly, Bill Barr is a former Attorney General for George Herbert Walker Bush. Bill Barr chooses words carefully. Professionals use the word surveillance. There was surveillance. Spying is a partisan hack word that Donald Trump has, and Lindsey Graham and others like Sean Hannity have introduced into the lexicon of politics. Spying has a negative connotation. Spying is wrong. Surveillance is what went on here, approved by the courts. But you've got Bill Barr now no longer an Attorney General for the United States of America, but Donald Trump's puppet, his hack puppet, whose job is not to represent the United States of America, but to protect Donald Trump. And it goes back to his letters. It all interconnects here. And then here, and by the way, in that answer, if you listen carefully, Bill Barr literally compared Russia attacking our government, our elections, being in the same breath as the spying on the campaign. That's he's elevating to that. That is not for our consumption. That is for the consumption of not just Donald Trump. This is not just an audience of one thing. This is an audience of one and everyone who watches Fox News and reads Breitbart and likes Alex Jones. This is the idea there's a deep state that was spying on the Trump campaign, as opposed to there was authorized surveillance by courts because there was concerns of an interaction between Trump campaign officials and Russians. We even saw Donald Trump in July 2016 say, Russia, if you're listening, be great if you found the emails. We know in June 2016, and we didn't know it then, but we knew now, Donald Trump Jr. got an email saying Russia and the government wants to help your father, and he takes the meeting. If you did not investigate, if the FBI did not investigate that, there's something wrong. I would be yelling, we'd all be yelling, why were you giving Donald Trump a pass? I hope they investigate. I hope they bug Donald Trump Jr.'s phones. Are you kidding me? He was meeting with Russians to get help to undermine our government at the time they were waging a war on our elections. They better have investigated him. And then here Bill Barr continues on. Here's right after that, clip number 4.
So you're not suggesting, though, that spying occurred?
I don't, I guess you could, I think there's spying did occur. Yes, I think spying did occur.
Well, let me...
But the question is whether it was adequately predicated. And I'm not suggesting it wasn't adequately predicated, but I need to explore that. I think it's my obligation. Congress is usually very concerned about intelligence agencies and law enforcement agencies staying in their proper lane, and I want to make sure that happened.
Spying happened. I'm not saying it wasn't predicated, which is mean based on probable cause or whatever standard of proof they need in the FISA courts. I'm just saying spying, because I know this is going to play later on Sean Hannity and Tucker Carlson and Laura Ingraham. So I want to give them the soundbite they need to keep our base animated, because the 2020 election is coming up. This is what this is, folks. We're watching a partisan puppet hack, not an attorney general. Him doing this on cable news as a pundit would be typical, would be fine. We're like, okay, that's what you do. If Rudy Giuliani went on, or Jay Sekulow, Trump's other personal lawyers, went on TV and said this, we'd go, you're playing red meat for the base. I get it. And that's fine. That's politics. Not when you're the sitting Attorney General of the United States of America. There's no place for this. In fact, minutes, and I told you this all in real time, minutes after that statement at 12:24 p.m., Justice previously told us, I've asked DOJ to brief us immediately. So now you've got prior briefings given to Democrats on the Hill saying there was no spying. Everything was done by the book. And now Bill Barr, a whole new line of inquiry has to be looked into because Donald Trump, my boss, who I work for, not the United States, told me to do this. This is what's going on right in front of us. And then after Gerald Nadler calls him out like that, a short time later, Bill Barr tries to clean it up a little bit, trying to be responsible, but he's already done his job. He's got it out there. The headlines across the nation today and tonight on cable news, Fox News, they're celebrating. It is a victory lap. Bill Barr is opening an inquiry, like Donald Trump said, into spying. It wasn't legal surveillance, folks. Again, these words for lawyers are important. Bill Barr knows the difference between spying and surveillance. Surveillance is what I would say as a lawyer. If I was working in the government, I would say surveillance. Spying inherently means something bad. And then here's Bill Barr trying to clean up a little bit later in the hearing after Gerald Nadler's tweet. So this is all in real time happening. Clip 5.
I just want to make it clear, thinking back on all the different colloquies here, that I am not saying that improper surveillance occurred. I'm saying that I am concerned about it and looking into it. That's all.
And all of a sudden, he went back to the word surveillance. Why do you think that happened? A lot of this is happening because Democrats have the House. And when the chairman of the Judiciary Committee tweets like that and demands a DOJ briefing, it's real. And now you have Bill Barr testifying under oath. This is not perjury stuff. This is just political hackery going on in front of us, doing the work of Donald Trump. In fact, a few hours later, Donald Trump, again, all real time. Donald Trump, 10 a.m., says, I need an investigation. It's treason. A few minutes later, there's Bill Barr mimicking that bullshit. A few hours later, continuing, Gerald Nadler calls him out. He walks it back at 3:45 Eastern Time. Donald Trump, though, puts a little bow on it, saying, so it's now been determined by 18 people that truly hate President Trump. There's been no collusion with Russia. In fact, it was an illegal investigation. Should never have started. I fought back hard against this phony and treasonous hoax. And Bill Barr playing the role all along. Let's just clarify one thing. What is the job of the Attorney General? Just so it's clear for everyone, this is objective. If you look at the actual website, Department of Justice, it lays it out for you. Right there, the position of Attorney General was created by the Judiciary Act of 1789. Very simply, it was one of the first acts of the new government. In June 1870, Congress establishes the Department of Justice. And on the DOJ's own website, it says the job of the Attorney General is the head of the Department of Justice. It controls all the U.S. attorneys around the country. Its mission is to supervise and administer the operation of enforcement administration. It's to deal with issues involving the White House. It does give opinions to the cabinet officials and the president. That's all true within its scope. Its job is to enforce the law. But nowhere in there is the job of the AG to be Donald Trump's personal political puppet, nor his personal lawyer. Donald Trump has personal lawyers for that. And that's what I'm trying to make a distinction here. This is not a political thing. This is a legal distinction. The AG's job is to represent the United States of America. That is their job. What Bill Barr is doing is representing Donald J. Trump. That's what he's doing. And I want you to see this distinction. This is not Eric Holder didn't do this. Loretta Lynch didn't do this for Obama. Of course, President Obama was not a criminal, so a little easier. This is where this varies from beyond norms into political advocacy. And that's what you're seeing Bill Barr doing. And it's not a surprise. This is the same guy. I went through it a week and a half ago. Cover up Attorney General. The guy who helped pardon 6 people when he was AG under Bush the father in Iran-Contra, where Lawrence Wallace, the special counsel, actually said those pardons had obstructed his investigation. But there was nothing he could do about it because it was over the investigation. And today, Senator Mark Warner, the top Democrat on Senate Intel Committee, came out strong saying Barr knows how counter-intel investigations work. He knows there was ample evidence of Russian attempts to infiltrate the Trump campaign, and the FBI took lawful action, adding, giving a wink and a nod to this long-debunked spying conspiracy theory is responsible. Again, folks, Bill Barr is picking spying over surveillance over and over and over and over again until he got pushed back by Gerald Nadler, by Twitter, and I'm sure was brought to his attention, and then began using the word surveillance. He had done his job. This is what Donald Trump wanted. Now, Nancy Pelosi this afternoon is ripping into Bill Barr in a way that I don't think Speaker Pelosi would normally do. She's not a red meat type of partisan person. But in this case, she said point blank just a short time ago, quote, Barr, he is not the Attorney General of Donald Trump. He's the Attorney General of the United States. I don't trust Barr. I trust Mueller. She said she was very concerned about Barr's handling and said he's off the rails. He is. Again, I'm telling you, this is not how Attorney Generals act. This is how Rudy Giuliani acts on Fox News or on ABC or Jay Sekulow, Trump's other lawyers, not the sitting Attorney General. And I really hope everyone gets there's a distinction there. And by the way, to the substance of his allegations, they had former FBI agent who's a CNN contributor. You see her all the time, Asha, I'm going to mangle her last name, Rangopia. We'll just call it that, Rangopia. I'll just say it confidently. Asha Rangopia. You see her all the time. You watch CNN. And she was like a mid-level to senior FBI person. She did a thread on Twitter making a great point here. All investigative techniques have various layers of approval. The more intrusive they are, the higher up they go up the food chain, including up to the AG and to a judge for authorization. So using a word like spying, and again, everyone is they know this, he's doing this on purpose. So she said using a word like spying is loaded and deceptive. Specify the technique. In addition, she said Mueller knows the rules. He was FBI director for 13 years, took over the entire investigation. If he had seen something, she said, if Mueller himself in his own investigation had seen illegality or impropriety, he would have raised that himself. So if that's not in the Mueller report, and I don't think it's going to be because Barr would have told us that even Robert Mueller flagged it, this is just bullshit. This is the worst type of politics. This is the kind of politics that makes people not want to get involved. I don't mean me or us. I mean, it's the kind of thing where the persons who are not really active go, oh my God, these people are all the same. They're all just, it's not about right and wrong. Even the attorney general is just a political hack and it's all BS and what does it matter anymore? That's what they want. They want you to think everything is corrupt and everything's fine. This is what the way business usually is. It's not. This is not how attorney generals act. Attorney generals have resigned over doing the dirty work for a president. We saw it famously with the Saturday Night Massacre with Richard Nixon. That's what real attorney generals do. They do not sit there and spew talking points that Sean Hannity could have written up. Spying, and I'm looking and equating. I mean, to me, one of the most outrageous things, and I wish the media would pick it up a little bit more, was Bill Barr testifying to equating Russia attacking our election in 2016, equating it with an FBI investigation of certain members of a campaign because they were interacting with Russians. They're not the same. They're the same on Fox News. They're not the same in the real world, and they shouldn't be. Our nation was attacked by a foreign government, a government that Donald Trump has continued to defend over and over and over again. No evidence of conspiracy is found to the level of criminality. I get that. But Robert Mueller and all of us know there's something wrong. They have something on Trump. I don't know. But so I talked a long time. Let's take a break. I want to hear from you about your reaction to Bill Barr. Do you have any confidence we're going to get anything from the report other than, and I'll take my prediction. Here's my prediction so we can all remember, and I'm happy to be wrong. My prediction is Bill Barr will black out anything in the report that's negative about Donald Trump that we have not already seen in the public, meaning the tweets that Trump have said will be in there. So he can say, I had bad stuff in there, but nothing new. That's what he'll keep secret from us. We'll only see what Trump has already done publicly because there's no downside to him including it in there. It actually gives him credibility by including that stuff and blacking out the other stuff saying, the rest is counterintelligence and grand jury, whatever. So what do you, no one can have confidence in Bill Barr. If you do, call me. I'd love to hear you. But I really want to hear, what do you think we're going to see from the report? Have you ever seen an attorney general? A lot of people have longer memories than I do act like this as a political puppet. I haven't. 866-997-4748. And we should impeach Bill Barr. I'm not even kidding. And I don't say that hyperbolically. This is not what an AG should do. I know he hasn't violated crimes and misdemeanors. He should not be there. Oh my gosh. Let's take a break and come back.
The Dean Obeidallah Show.
I think Trump clips that they play on the media should come with a health warning saying that if you watch this, you'll get